Hey everyone, welcome back to Painting and Prayers. Today I have gotten something super exciting and very sparkly to share with you. Today we are going to dive into the world of glitter tattoos. If you're looking to add an extra touch of sparkle to your face painting station, glitter tattoos are the perfect way to do it. I'll be walking you through all the basics, how to create fast and easy, very simple designs that end up looking dazzling, all the basic supplies that you need, how to do your setup, several different easy techniques to use to get different types of finishes and results, and how to smooth everything off for that sparkling finish. In my online survey, you guys overwhelmingly voted for me to show you how to do seasonal glitter tattoos instead of the regular basic ones. So today I'm going to show you some of the more popular, easier glitter tattoos to do for Christmas time. This is my glitter tattoo chart for Christmas, and in the links below, you will find links to all of the supplies that I use in this video, as well as where to get this chart and all of the stencils that go with it. And I will be going over my process that I use on how to easily utilize these stencils. I have a very simple glitter tattoo setup, and it varies a lot from a lot of the other glitter tattoo artists out there. I prefer my things done in a certain way, and there is quite a bit of controversy over which types of glitters to use, which types of glues work best, who to buy your stencils from, how many times you can use a stencil, all sorts of things. But today, I'm just going to go over with you my setup, my process, and how I get from start to finish on my glitter tattoos. They are simple, they are quick and easy to do, and they are a big hit with the kids. Whether you're adding glitter tattoos to your face painting repertoire, or you're just looking for a fun new craft to try, this tutorial will go over everything from the cleaning process to choosing the right stencils, how to apply the glitter in different ways, what types of brushes to use, what types of glitter to use, and how to remove the tattoos. So grab your glitter, your stencils, and let's get started on adding that bit of sparkle to your face painting station for the holidays. So here are the stencils I'm using today. I'm using number 548, this cascading snowflake. I'm using number 806, and that is a regular Christmas tree. And I'm using 811, which is this candy cane design. All of these glitter tattoo stencils can be found online at www.artfactoryus.com. And here are the glitters that I'm using today. The links for all the glitters that I'm using and all of the stencils that I'm using, as well as the brushes, will be in the comments below. There are many different types of glitters to use, and a lot of glitter tattoo artists like to use little squirt bottles that have a small nozzle so that you can more control where the glitter goes, but I prefer to brush my glitter on. These are all of the brushes that I'm using, and they are just fluffy eyeshadow makeup brushes. These are cheap ones from Amazon. And I also found these little green trays that I keep all of my supplies in at the dollar store. I also use these plain cotton pads that you can get anywhere that sells Q-tips or cotton balls, usually in the makeup section. And I use some isopropyl alcohol. Today I'm using 50%. I usually like to use 90% when I'm actually at an event. So for our first tattoo, we're going to start with the Christmas tree. I'm going to choose an area of the skin that is smooth and flat, because it's much easier to apply on a smooth and flat surface than a rounded corner like an elbow or a shoulder. And I'm going to clean the area well with isopropyl alcohol and let that dry. These are the different types of glue that I have, and I prefer to use this Pro Body Art glue, which can be purchased online through Amazon and also in a kit form. So now I'm going to remove the stencil from its backing. And there are many different places you can purchase stencils from. You can buy kits on Amazon, but I would make sure you check the safety ratings of the kits before you purchase one. So I'm just going to push it down against the skin in the area I want to apply the tattoo and make sure it's as smooth as possible with no bubbles. And this particular type of stencil has a top cover as well, so I'm going to peel that off. Once it's positioned correctly and there are no bubbles, then I'm going to apply the glue inside all of the areas that are exposed in the stencil. And it just brushes on very easily, just like nail polish. You can buy big bottles of glue and paint it on with a paintbrush. You can also put it in a small detail bottle that has a tiny tip on the edge where you can really get into small areas. I tend to try to use stencils that have large, broader areas because it's much easier and faster to apply that kind. You can get as detailed with it as you want. After the entire area is covered in glue, you can see how there's like a white-blue sheen everywhere that the glue is applied. You don't want to be able to see any of this, so you're gonna sit here and let it dry until it's completely translucent. And for the sake of time, I'm just gonna speed it up until it's dry. The drying process, depending on how much glue you have applied, can take anywhere from 30 seconds to 3 minutes. So keep that in mind when you're applying your glue. So this is pretty good. You can still see a little bit of white spots, but this is good enough to start applying glitter. So for this tattoo, I'm going to do a pretty standard technique. I'm just going to block out solid colors. I'm going to start with my green glitter. And with one of my eyeshadow brushes, I'm going to fill the tip with green, and I'm just going to lightly tap it in everywhere where I want the green glitter to show up. I'm sorry about the focus on this. I was having some issues with it focusing correctly. So now that area is completed and I don't see any skin underneath, I'm going to switch to my other color just to add a little bit of a gold star on top. And I'm going to switch brushes when I switch colors because I don't want them to mix together on the skin. And make sure you replace your lids immediately after you're finished using your glitter if you are using open glitter like this, because the glitter spills easily and it gets everywhere. Now with my big fluffy blush brush, I am going to just brush away any of the excess glitter on the skin, and I'm going to carefully remove the stencil. Now this part is the part that usually scares some of the smaller children because they feel like it might feel like a band-aid that hurts, but it really doesn't, especially if you place the stencil on an area that doesn't have any hair on it. It should come off very easily without any pain. And as you can see, all of the glitter is staying in place even when I rub against it. Make sure to get all that extra glitter off so no loose glitter is left on there. Now this tattoo will last anywhere from 24 to 72 hours, depending on how often it is washed. If you have a client who's concerned about it being removed easily, you can tell them that it's easily removed with just some isopropyl alcohol. So I do like to reuse my stencils 3 or 4 times before I get rid of them just because they are so expensive. And if you plan on doing this as a glitter tattoo artist, you need to make sure that your stencils are very clean between each use, as well as your brushes. So I'm just using the same pad with isopropyl alcohol on it to remove any of the excess glitter from the eyeshadow brushes, so there's no color left over or any germs left over for the next person. And at the end of each event, I clean these brushes very well with Dawn dish soap. If you are planning on reusing your stencils, on one of your cotton pads, just get some alcohol, rubbing alcohol, and remove every bit of glitter. And it does take some work to do so. So when I am cleaning off stencils, I will do it after the event at home later because it does take some elbow grease to get every bit of glitter off of them. If you rub them too much or put too much rubbing alcohol on them, they will no longer stick. So keep that in mind if you're planning on reusing stencils. So for our second glitter tattoo, I'm going to show you how to easily apply one on top of an area that may be covered with hair, like a hairy arm or a leg, or anyone who has just more hairy skin. And I tend to have pretty hairy arms, so I'm going to apply right here on my wrist. And you're going to clean the area very well and lay down your stencil exactly as we did with the other one. Some stencils you have to be careful not to pull too hard because it will break off small pieces. And this is also more of a curved area, so just make sure that all of the edges are pressed down nice and gently where nothing is bubbled up and nothing is sticking up or folded. And make sure all the little detailed spots are laid down nice and firmly. Now we're going to apply our glue in much the same fashion as we did with the other one. Just make sure you get every little crevice and every little line, as this is a much more detailed stencil. There are some smaller areas that can be skipped over if you're not being careful to apply the glue to every little space. And on this design, I'm going to do a little bit of shading and show you a few other little things you can do to make the stencils look more detailed. Make sure every little corner has a drop of glue in it. The smaller corners can be skipped if you're brushing on the glue too fast. Just make sure there's glue in every little crack and crevice. So now with our glue that's all dried and translucent, I'm going to grab a brush and I'm going to start with this blue color that I picked out. And I'm going to start with the little bit of shadow that I'm adding. I'm just going to go along this inside ledge where there's a little bit of a line in the stencil. And I'm going to just add this blue shadow all the way down. I'm being very careful to keep it just where that little bit of a line is, and trying not to get it into the stripes of the main candy cane. Now I'm going to switch brushes and go to this silvery color that I have for the white part of the candy cane. And I'm just going to fill in every other stripe. Make sure to pat down the glitter really good into all the crevices so that there is no skin showing through the glitter. And then we're going to do the same with the red stripes. Once all of the areas are filled in, I'm going to use my big brush to brush away all of the excess glitter again, and then slowly and carefully peel it up. But because this is on an area with hair, make sure you peel up in the direction of the hair so no hair is pulled when you're removing the stencil. Also be mindful of the little detail pieces in the center of the stencil so they don't get ripped off. And this is what our candy cane looks like after removing the stencil. Now, my personal opinion on this stencil is I don't like how much skin it leaves between each stripe. So when I'm using this candy cane, what I do is I add a little bit more glue between each stripe and add another color of glitter so that the candy cane is nice and filled in. And that is one of the reasons that I like using this particular glue with the nail polish bottle, because the little brush on the nail polish bottle makes it very easy to fill in these smaller lines. So I've chosen this slight gold color because I think it will go nicely with the red and the silver. And once my glue is again translucent, I'm going to go in and tap the gold just over the areas that I added glue to. Don't worry if your gold looks like it's going on top of all the other colors. Anywhere where there is already glitter laid down, when you brush it off at the end, the excess gold will come off of that area. So it will still look red and white on the other two stripes. Now just remove the excess glitter. And that's what your final candy cane will look like. Now for our final tattoo, I'm going to do this snowflake design. And I'm just going to put it up here on the back of my hand. For cleaning the area, we're going to apply the stencil like we have on all the other ones. Just be very careful when removing this stencil from its backing because it does have a lot of small, intricate areas in the center of each snowflake. And when you're applying it to the skin, make sure you have every little piece stuck down to the skin, especially the inside areas, because the blush brushes, when you're applying the glitter, can move those little tiny pieces around and make it to where the glue doesn't stick like it should and the glitter gets kind of muddled. So we're going to apply our glue in exactly the same way. So for the coloring on this one, you see I've grabbed all of these colors that go from a dark blue to a silver. I'm going to make this one look like an ombre type color. I'm starting with this dark blue, I've got a light blue, I've got this teal and silver color, and then I have just the plain silver. And this silver is really pretty. It's got a lot of blue sparkles in it. It's kind of iridescent looking. You can't really see that on the camera, but it matches the blue colors really well. So we're gonna have separate brushes for each color, and we're just gonna start off by patting in a really thick layer of the darkest color. And I'm going to use the brush to kind of spread that out until there is no more glitter to push around. And just putting little bits of it further down and not fully covering the skin. Then we're going to switch to our next color and fill in all the areas that didn't get covered. And we're going to do the same thing where we apply a really thick layer and just kind of brush it down so it can blend well into the next color. And really pat it in there and make sure every bit of excess glitter that's on top of the layer is getting used. I'm just going to brush it down into this next snowflake, getting little bits of the light blue color in there, and make it go as far as I can. Then I'm going to switch to the teal color and fill in all the areas that didn't get covered. Again, just blending them together as best I can. And this ombre type look looks really good on a lot of different types of glitter tattoos. You can use it for fire, you can use it on flags. It's a really good technique to use. And then I'm going to do the same with the final color. I'm just going to fill in all the areas that didn't get glitter coverage. And then this last snowflake at the bottom will just be all silver. And you can take this one step further. Once you remove the stencil, you can put little dots of glue around these snowflakes and add just a dot of glitter here and there to make it look like small pieces of snow falling around it. There's a lot of extra things you can do. I also like to take my regular cream glitter that I use for face painting, and I can go around the edges of the designs sometimes to give it just that extra pop of glitter. So after removing the excess glitter, like usual, we are going to be very careful and remove the stencil. This one can tend to get stuck if there's too much glitter on there, so be very careful and make sure every piece is pulled up correctly. And you see you get a really intricate, small, fine detailed snowflake from this one. And this one is also a good one to combine with other ones. So if you want to add a glitter tattoo for a reindeer in here, or a sleigh and a Santa, it's really good one to just mix with a few other stencils to make a full scene and make it a really pretty glitter tattoo. And just make sure every bit of extra glitter is off of the skin so it doesn't rub off all day long. And there is a really pretty ombre snowflake design. So now let's talk about glitter tattoo removal. Now they will come off on their own after washing and taking showers over a few days, and the more they are washed, the quicker they will come off. But if there's someone who has an event and needs it removed immediately or by the next day, this is the best way to do it. The higher the percentage of rubbing alcohol that you use, the easier it is to come off. But basically, you're just going to rub on top of the glitter tattoo until the glue is dissolved and the whole tattoo comes off. The thicker the tattoo, the more effort it will take. But just a good rubbing with the rubbing alcohol and a clean cotton pad will remove all of the glitter. I was able to remove all 3 of these tattoos with no issues right after this video is taken, so it can come off immediately if it needs to be done so. They are also easier to remove on smooth and flat areas versus areas that are covered with some type of hair like the arms or the legs. And there you have it. You are now ready to add some extra sparkle to your face painting station with your very own glitter tattoos. We've covered everything you need from start to finish so that you can start utilizing this in the easiest, simplest way possible. I hope you found this tutorial helpful and inspiring for some of your own glitter tattoo designs. And if you're a newcomer and like what you see, consider subscribing to our channel. We try to post videos every Friday, and we always do something creative. Until next time, stay blessed.